offensively, um, let me give you some stats here before we go. Give me one sec. Offensively, like I talked about Jordan Love, 207 yards, but as a team rushing, 34 rushes, 160 yards, 4.8, and two touchdowns, long run of 39. Romeo Dobbs had obviously the big day. He had the late catch at the end. I think they put him over the top as far as passing leaders. But Tucker Craft really is continuing to show in this offense now. If you're Luke Musgrave, you got to be going, man, I can't get healthy fast enough. Dontavia Wicks had a good day, 2 for 29 in the passing game. But really, I think the theme is when you're when you're seeing Jordan Love having what you would just call a more efficient day. So I think 17 and 26, 17 and 28, but 219, like not big yardage. But the best days in my mind, at least, have been the days where you can run the football and he has 200 and some odd yards rushing and maybe 189 yards or passing, excuse me. And it's a much more balanced offense. When if he's going to pull out a 350-yard day, I mean, you just don't want. I don't think you want this quarterback to be in that situation where he's got to throw the ball that often. Matt LaFleur did a great job here making the decision, and I don't know if this is how they thought about it. This is certainly how I thought about it and talked about it in the preview show. Is like, how are you going to attack Derek Brown, because he's a different player when he's a two gap than when he's in the 3 point stance and like a true three technique we can penetrate. And he's a really really good player. They had Zach Tom blocking him early in the game because they left him in base defense. So they went two tight ends, 12 personnel. So you see 89 and 85 on the line of scrimmage. 89 can run the split flow here. So they're going to run the split flow weak, and they allow Zach Tom to just go one on one here. I think he actually gets backside help with the tight end. Yeah, that's right. So they get this great push, and you just see the hole pop open. All right, and there's two things here that are great. Brian Burns has to hold for Jordan Love, but they get such good push from not only from Zach and I believe that's Tucker Kraft, but also watch John Runyon Jr. just knock the hell out of this nose tackle. And actually, I think he ends up knocking Myers on the ground as well. But that's just a complete domination by John Runyon Jr. and a great job by Zach Tom. But having Zach available to block next play, available to block Derek Brown, and look at the push he gets. Listen, this is not normal. Okay, that is not a normal block for Derek Brown to get pushed. We've seen him against all pro guards. Okay, for him to get pushed back 6 yards off the line of scrimmage, single blocked, is big time. And so it's like Aaron Jones comes back and like, what is it about the Packers when Aaron's in the game? He plays, at least initially in the game, they block so much better. I mean, AJ's not getting that kind of love. AJ averaged 1.7 yards per carry. Again, a lot of those short yardage, tough yard stuff. But Aaron Jones is just, there's just a breath of fresh air when he's in the game, man. So we have two tight ends, 12 personnel again. You really got trips down to the bottom of the field. Here we go. Motion across to a 2-by-2, under center, play action, keeper. Tucker Kraft's wide open in the flat. Why? How is he that wide open? Well, we do the same thing. We do the exact same thing. Watch the play down at the bottom. We go insert tight end. The offenses, man, it's all the same. You go tight end. He inserts inside the on the ball line, tight end. Right, responsibilities get switched up, and you see the corner here just chases. The linebacker is now responsible for going to the flat. There's no way he's going to get there. And Tucker gets downfield, and it's like maybe he's into pain, man, because last week he did the splits and took one right in the crotch. And I think he protected himself by going left leg high this time, or inside leg high and not taking a crotch again. But that looks like that is painful to me, man. I don't know if I'm his size against the safety, I weigh him by 30 pounds. Maybe I'm just lowering my shoulder every once in a while. We see Tucker Kraft here. We did a little pump fake. This is a run play, so they're going to pull Eldon Jenkins, and he keeps Brian Burns wide, and he goes upfield, and he doesn't have. We talked about this. He just kind of has to splatter block this linebacker. He doesn't have to destroy him. His hands are outside. He gets the worst of this from Frankie Luke, but he does enough where Aaron Jones has time now, and you see what happens. They put the onus on the corner to make this play. The corner's got to break down and go same foot, same shoulder tackle here. And because Aaron keeps this so tight to Jenkins' block. And then right here, just lower shoulder and goes power knees, runs right through. And now you're talking, this is literally the difference in the game between Aaron Jones being a 100-yard rusher and not being a 100-yard rusher in this game. It's this one run. Okay. And these are the things that happen when you have that special player. I love how he finishes to the ground. It reminds me of watching AG. Him not going out of bounds, man. I'm going to get my licks in. Uh, when you think about the explosive offenses in the league, it's not always that, Mike McDaniel's like a scheme genius. It's that they have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Rasheed Mostert. Like you got speed, you got guys that are explosive. You're going to have an explosive offense, and sometimes you got to manufacture that stuff. But really, when you think about it, that blocking scheme hasn't changed. That defense hasn't changed. It's still a good defense, but you have that special player that just kind of makes it a little bit better, and that's who Aaron Jones is for this offense. No doubt about it. Great job here. Safety's high, pointed in, and they're going to chase the first crosser route, this deep crosser. And so we have inside leverage here down Romeo Dobbs. We have inside leverage on the corner. So when he takes this little dig route, even though the Jordan Love knows he's going to have to get the ball in quick because that safety's going to drive, this is a great throw and catch. So steps into this throw, throws a dart, and Dobbs holds on, even though he's going to have to deal with that safety. Big time play there, man. Big time football. And this is the benefit of base defense, okay? Because now they're in nickel, and now you got Derek Brown downhill penetrating three technique on John Runyon Jr., and he just does a long arm, and they end up running a T off this, but it's what I call a mesh T, mesh stunt, which just means he's not really trying to pick you; he's just trying to take that gap and win. So he long arm bull. Zach Tom ends up washing the whole thing down. But against a guard at three technique, he's just a much, much different player. And the NFL has to cut this stuff out, man. I know this benefited the Packers. This is Gross Matos 97, hits Jordan Love here on this play. So this is a free first down, 15-yard penalty. Look, this is terrible, man. Like the Packers screwed this up. Patrick Taylor. I think Rasheed Walker's probably supposed to stay on the defensive end. Patrick Taylor's supposed to go outside. They end up, screwing up responsibilities. Dude, that's not a penalty. I'm sorry. And I know, even I don't know, maybe they called helmet to helmet. I'm not sure, but it just is terrible. I call this a trust throw, and what I mean by that is he has to clear the linebacker. And again, that safety's driving. Jordan Love throws this ball sideways, but he throws this ball. You see that the receiver is on the 20, let's call it the 22-yard line. And he comes back, he gets to the 20, he kind of bends this thing back. He throws this to a spot, and the spot's basically where he thinks that the receiver can get before the safety drives on him. So if he leads him, high side into at the 20, he's not going to make that completion. That's a trust throw. You're throwing to space. Great timing, great anticipation by Jordan Love. We got a 3-by-2 empty. This is what I love to see, right? He sees the coverage. He's telling the top receiver, hey, run across because I got something for him. And so this ends up being a busted play and we score on an off schedule throw. But my point to everybody is this is what you want to see at the line of scrimmage is Jordan having complete command of that play, not necessarily the offense and what he's allowed to do and not to do, but in these instances having complete command and being able to say, this is the play that I want. I'm telling you to do this, that, and the other, telling the receivers what to do, and then being able to go out and make something happen off schedule from a maturation standpoint. This is a big time play. And then this is what these guys can do well. We're talking about the tight ends. Put them in a slip situation where, we talked about this before, whether it's, the outside guy off the ball or the inside guy off the ball, it doesn't really matter. But you're looking at two tight ends, just being able to block Gross Matos up to the second level, just gets a hand check from Tucker Kraft. I think Sims does a really nice job here. And Tucker Kraft forces Frankie Lavu to go underneath. You're never going underneath on Aaron Jones and making the play. Outruns him to the sideline. That's the kind of stuff like you stay in your pocket, right? Stay in what you're good at. Now, the very next play, Frankie Lavu we talked about it. He is an incredible pass defender as far as being able to rush the quarterback under center. And so remember, the Packers started off the game with these two long runs. So they just had a nice run on first down. This is the start of the third quarter. The second time they go under center, and they want to go under center play action. They want to mix it up, right? Because they've shown a tendency. They want to change that tendency. Really smart play by Matt LaFleur, but unfortunately, he times this so well that there's just no way Aaron Jones can get there. And this is what a guy like having a really high level middle linebacker does. It does really well. Now I think this is this is Jordan Love being a two-time winner, and what I mean is, frankly, we could have had two picks this game, and he makes a great throw on this first one to to Dobbs. Excuse me, Dobbs does a great job of run after catch, but he throws that ball perfect away from the linebacker. Linebacker ends up trying to make the play and misses the tackle. Get downfield, and I think DeGuara ends up coming in saving the day on the fumble here. But those are big time plays. So Sean Ryan's in the game, and everyone's trying to figure that thing out. And listen, sometimes when it's working, it's just working. And what I mean by that is Sean Ryan goes the wrong direction. He runs into Zach Tom. We end up not blocking this player. We have the wham block the defensive end, or excuse me, the defensive tackle. We don't get to the linebacker. Aaron Jones still picks up 8 yards. Frankly, they won't blue. We don't block the linebacker. We don't block Lulu. Ends up working. Sometimes things just work, and you just go, "Good, thank goodness that worked." Now, talk about the backside here. Stick with the plan. Don't have your tight end with his hand in the ground blocking against a good stand-up outside linebacker, because that's not what he's good at. And in these plays like that, in situations like that, AJ Dillon comes in the game, and it's like we need a tough yard, and he's sitting here going, "Well, we didn't ask Tucker Craft to block Gross Matos. Use poor technique, turn your shoulders, let him go across your face, and shut the door on this play immediately." When Aaron Jones was in, what the hell are you doing with me? And it just depends. Sometimes these things are there's a necessity of running plays. So you can't not run every you can't run certain plays just because guys aren't good at what they do. Like, you have to have things as your offense. You have to just get better at them, right? But you do see kind of this weird like dichotomy of the scheme when Aaron's in, and then the scheme when AJ's in, or the execution. And like, there's nothing that AJ could have done there. He can, you can say he could jump cut out and try to make something happen. And certainly, maybe Aaron does that, but it's tough sledding. So we got the trips look. And we talked about this before with the tight ends. When this player here does this, so when he gets stacked, it goes inside. So the outside player kind of got stacked on the second player on the bunch look, where they go inside. It screws up the responsibilities of those safeties. So the secondary, or the corner and the secondary is trying to figure out, it's a who's on first moment again. So right now, the responsibilities were obvious at the snap, not so obvious now. And so now we have leverage. We actually have both players open, because the safety at the top on the O in Carolina is pointed towards the crosser. So you can actually get, I think that's, I can't see who the middle guy, but the high angle on the R, the between the A and the R is open, and the flat is open, and it's just a responsibility shift from the Green Bay Packers. Puts the Carolina guys really in a difficult leverage situation. Now, this is a big play at the game. I wanted to highlight Patrick Taylor, who ends up doing a great job of stepping up on a gotta have it play. Does a great job of stepping up and getting this block, because that allows Jordan Love to get this ball off. And this was not a catch. Um, it was pretty obvious that the ball hit the ground, but you get the calls sometimes when you're a Green Bay Packer, and I certainly am not going to complain about that. Had a little bit of a communication breakdown here between these two tight ends. This is a big play at the end of the game. Just got to make sure you're right. Let me show you this again. So these guys are supposed to double up to the linebacker, and you'll watch this. Tucker goes the wrong way. 89 Sims stunts, goes back inside. They're going to run the G lead. Excuse me. So they're not slipping. They're avoiding the run in the G lead. But somebody's got to account for Frankie Lavu, and Tucker's going backside, and Sims pump fakes him, lets him go, and Lavu just knocks the block out of Aaron Jones right here. I mean, this is one of those hits because he doesn't see it coming. You could have lost the ball right there, man. Two-time winner. What we talked about, the difference between the winning margin in this game is so razor thin. That play could have been a pick. I mean, it's that close. And you end up winning the game on that play.